All right, today's the day. I have to tear this front end apart again and put the correct gearing in it, since the original axles that was purchased did not match. I have the gears, I have a rear drive line, I have front and rear shocks, I have some bump stops, and front wheel spacers to match the rear. So I'm just going to get into it today. Before I get into this, beginning of this build, I already rebuilt this. So for the most part, I am going to try and reuse the bearings here so I can keep these sealed. Anyways, I'm just going to get into it. Well, it looks like that's out of a 79, which are really early models. The splines are skinnier. This is a 488, 350. So we're gonna have to go digging. All right, in my little hidey hole of parts, we're gonna hope that we can find the correct yoke, which I thought I had some out already somewhere. One might be bigger. Let's see what this one looks like. It looks kind of small. All right, as expected, wrong spline count. This is 27. This is 29. We want to go with 29. It's stronger. Got one coming. Got one ordered. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the ring gear. Relock that down. Then I'm going to have to put these parts to the side until that piece comes in. That way I can get all these other parts cleaned up, put out there. And we're going to go move on to the rest of the front end. That's right, I'm reading instructions. These look expensive and I didn't pay for them. So I'm gonna figure out how to get these installed. Alright, I figured out what I'm going to do. I don't know why, but these bolts are in here big, which is fine. And then this says installation kit. I'm assuming this is supposed to take up the space in here. But I'm starting to think I just don't understand instructions much anymore or something. So I'm going to take my reamer, which this needs to be about, let's see, might be a little oblong, 63 thousandths. This is about 62 and a half. So We're just gonna ream it. Oh yeah. And I can't just press that out and press this in. This is way smaller. It looks like it's supposed to go in there. So we're gonna see if we can make it go in there. If not, I do have some of these bushings. Got both shocks in. I'm gonna have to do these bump stops next, but I don't want to do any welding until I get the front end back together. So I went ahead and I was going to put the rear drive line in. And the U-joint part is going to hit this cross member. It's not that big of a deal. It's just going to be more of a pain because I wish I would have saw that when that was out, but I figured there would be enough clearance here. I cannot lower this transmission transfer case down. It's already downhill just a little bit. So I think I'm going to change what I was doing, because I'm going to be back here doing fab work anyways for the shock mounts. I'm going to mark where I need to here and weld in the other piece of this pipe I used as the support for that. Well, I didn't want to do any fabrication with all this bearings exposed, so I just waited for the correct part to come in. Well, that looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything installed, and we need to move on to fitting that drive line in better. Well, the front end's back together. I only have bump stops to install, and I want to get these welded into place. I'm going to probably hide these behind the shocks. There'll be enough clearance. I need to make sure this has some sort of a tie up on it where it's out of the way. But I'm going to make these to where it has a good ride height, and then if needed, these are removable, and then you can pull them apart and adjust your ride. These are a different, I don't know, hardness or whatever you want to call it, density. I set these up both sides the exact same. I'm going to go ahead and get these welded into place before we move on. Mainly because I need to get the tires back on this and pulled forward so we can finish the rear suspension part of this. I would pull it out and turn it around, but I'm doing concrete out front of this door, so it makes it very difficult to pull anything in and out. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this front end up, get the tires back on. Alright, let that cool down. I'm going to go get the other one knocked out real quick, get it measured out the same, and we'll move on. Well, that's cooling down. We're going to just keep moving. We're going to use this old piece from the front driveline spacing we had issues with. I already marked it out. We're going to get this cut, cleaned up, and get under there and mark the 4Runner. Okay, I gotta let that cool off before I can handle it too much. That we can crawl under and do some marking. All right, well, it's been a few days because I remembered that I wanted to get the front end of the 4Runner back down so we can move it forward. Which means I wanted to put the wheel spacers on. Somehow, the wheel spacers don't like the hub, which really not that big of a deal. So I chucked it up in my lathe to start turning the other one. And found out, let me get the light on here. I should say I remembered why I stopped using the lathe. This belt way down here, let's see. Way down in here is literally just strings. So I had to wait. Got a belt. Got a few other little parts and pieces I forgot was bad on this. And I need to dig it out of this hole to where I can start putting it back together. Then we'll start on that piece I cut out for the rear drive line. So yeah, it's been fun. Like every project, but I'm not a quitter. So I'll be back when that shit's cleaned up. All right, got one done. It was a good test run to make sure everything worked good. Let me get this out and throw that on the floor. Get that one in it. I did this one with the lug nuts on it. I don't want to do that again. All right, let's see here. So that's our issue, and I marked it out already. So this piece, come on, will sit up in there like that. I think I'm gonna go see if I have like a red Solo cup to slide over this tail housing so I don't get a bunch of crap in there. Should probably order a seal too. It looks like this seal's shot. Also, while we're under here, we're gonna get our shocks mounted in here. These plates I welded in, and then some lower pieces. My thought is, after digging through all of my crap I have, store-bought mounts for the axles. And then I had these, I think they're Jeep style, but they'll work fine. And a thick plate we'll just make some nice mounts out of. But first I'm gonna get this cross member part done and make sure that drive line's gonna fit. I haven't really got a good plan on how to cut that yet. Probably a cutoff wheel and some sweat. Forgot my condom. Well, that took me way too long. I really didn't expect it to be that much of a pain, but with minimal clearance in here, should be plenty of clearance in there. Let's see if we can throw that drive line in and then sneak that piece up in there for now. Now let's see where this will ride. Looks like we have a good 1/2 inch clearance, which should be fine. All right, I'm gonna get some of the mess cleaned up under here and get it welded. Move on. Little foam piece caught fire. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't in the cab. It wasn't. But now I'm going to let it dry out so I don't have a bunch of moisture in that too. I think I'm going to have to pull this tank back out so I can get a weld up in here. Very difficult to get up in there. I'm going to go ahead and get that other side welded up. I'm going to dry up some of my water. I just had a panic attack, so shit happens. Got that all welded up. No fire. So we're just going to move on. All right. I already have the lower brackets, like I said. Got everything else figured out. I think we're just going to make... I'm just going to cut 2 squares out of this, round each, one side on each, drill a hole, put this through it for now, and take it under there because I think this will be a good option. Yeah, let's do that. Looks like it's 2.5. And we'll square these up, make them even when we get it cut out. Now, just like that, I spared everybody the details and put it back together. Everything's painted, shocks are mounted, driveline in, rear end's 90 weights full, transfer case full. All the brakes are bled. Somewhere I have a thing that says all the stuff I gotta do. Alright, well, let's go to the back. These were the parts on order. We have our little dipstick for the transmission in. We have a thermostat. I already put that in the housing on. We have a power steering cooler, a reservoir, shock mounts are done, and we have an alternator. So, things that we need to do. We fixed the cross member for the drive line. Wait. Yes, we did that. We haven't done that extra little transfer case mount. Oh, we can do a starter, that's easy. Bled the brakes. I guess drive lines, we still need front. We have the exhaust. Haven't done trans fluid. Don't know about AC yet. Shoot, we still got a list. Okay, alt. Let's do the alternator. Let's see here. So there's a reason that I'm going to put a 1-wire alternator on. Old school Chevy. We priced out what a, I don't know, 2003 Corvette, because that's what all these front pulley deals are for. But they're like $400, $500, $600, and you have to order them. If this alternator goes out, this is a 1-wire Chevy alternator. Every parts house has them. We got the pulley adapter. We're going to put that on. And then in here, lighting sucks. We're going to make this mount to where this 1-wire permanently sits in here. We're going to try and tuck it really close the best we can. Anyways, I don't need to keep talking about it. I just need to get it done. Let's go over to the fab table again. I'm gonna swap out this pulley real quick. Alright, it looks to me like I can probably space this out however I need, which is good. So maybe I should get this big part mounted in there, and then we'll see our spacing on this before I figure out where I want it. That'll make it a lot easier. I think that will sit there. Now I just need to find a bolt. We'll bolt that in, and then we'll get us a straight edge in there. That might actually be where it needs to be. All right, find my bolts. Well, like always, I got to modify this. These bolts don't quite fit. We're just gonna start digging here. All right, let's see how bad we can mess this up. Ooh, probably gonna put it in the vise. Okay, done. Get all the shavings out of the windings, because that'll be fun. It looks to me like I'm gonna have to put a washer between this. There's a space. Hard to see that. So I'm gonna have to dig a washer out. Originally was thinking about putting it up here in this mount first, but I think if we go to the bottom one, it'll be easier to fabricate. Okay, so it looks to me like I can mount it just about there. All right, let me get some measurements here. We'll have to get a sleeve put in here, and then some sort of a bar that comes back to where we can bolt here, and then this will be pretty much stationary. Should line that up too. This will work good enough. Now, so that will have to come out a little bit. Okay, so we're going to space this out a little bit, get it tightened up. Now, I didn't have any decent tubing that fit this bolt good and snug, and I didn't want all that play, but this little piece of pipe fits nice, and this really thick one fits nice. So my plan is, because I kind of want to have a little bit extra beef in there, I'm going to put one of these thick washers in this piece, and I'm going to clamp this here together, and I'm going to put just a couple of little beads of weld around each side, and then I'm going to sand them flat. That way this will all be one good solid piece. I guess I should measure to make sure these fit. Yeah. Oh, and another concern of mine was if I just use this thin tubing, that little sleeve that tightens against the alternator, I think would go over the top of this, and then nothing would be tight. But what do we have to lose? Let's try it. Another fire. Went over, got me a little cardboard template made. This little moon shaped divot cut out will go over that piece we just built. The big fat finger, we're going to drill a hole in it, and that'll bolt to the alternator. So we're just going to scribe this out, and you can kind of see it. Get her cut out. And there's the install. I really like it. I took a belt measurement, so I gotta go pick up a belt. I'm still waiting on some power steering parts before I can continue with that. In the meantime, I did get the front drive line put in. It did arrive. Let's see. Another issue I'm going to be having. This trans cooler, there's not really a good location for it. Mainly because of the way the exhaust is going to run on this thing. So I do have some other parts coming. I guess in the meantime, I'm going to start getting some of the more boring, monotonous work done off camera. I am going to start wiring. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.